So, last week has been, one heck of a week. I've been down with flu and I'm slowly getting there. I'm actually so much better now. And I kept getting DMs. Actually, for the last 2 or so weeks, I've been getting DMs and I thought, okay, let's talk about this. Hi, Winnie. Hi, Ida. Hi, Earthworm. Hi, everyone. Hi, Lucille. So let's talk about what to do when he cheats and how to handle this like a winner. Let's talk about this. And this will apply to if you're married, and this really is my perspective. And I help my private clients to work through some of these things. And one of the biggest mistakes that wives are making if your man is cheating is getting too emotional. Let's talk about this. Now, there are two kinds of women. One woman, to her, cheating is a non-negotiable. Okay, so like me, that's the kind of babe I am. There's another kind of a wife, for her, cheating is something she can tolerate. Now, the biggest mistake is if you suspect your hubby is cheating, first of all, I'd ask you, why are you shopping for pain? Okay? But if that pain finds you, maybe the babe calls you or whatever happens, the biggest mistake you can do is to bring up this conversation with your hubby. Let me tell you why. Okay, and this completely depends with you. This is my perspective, and I'm talking about it from the perspective of you winning. Okay, so if you are the kind of a wife who knows even if you find your hubby cheating, you're not going to leave him, what's the point of bringing it up? Okay, so if for you cheating is something you feel you can condone, get any other hubby, maybe to you cheating is not a non-negotiable. If you find your hubby cheating, to me, the first thing, I would not bring this thing up at all. Why? Let's see. Drop your questions and I'll go through them. If you have a winner mentality, you understand your circumstances are feedback. So if your dude is stepping out, if your hubby is stepping out, the first question would be, if he is again. If you can hear me, if you can see me, drop an emoji. Let me see. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Drop an emoji if you can hear or you can see me. Let's see. Okay, so I think the network is now fine. Okay, so the first thing is I was saying, and this is a little bit of energetics, your circumstances are feedback. Okay, so if you want to win, the first thing, instead of confronting this man, clearly he's not going to admit it. Yeah, you're not going to leave. So why are you bringing it up? The first thing I do is I really look at myself. Where have I been cheating myself? Where in my life have I been lying to myself? Our men are mirrors to us. So that's why any woman who comes to me, I've had some babes who've come to me and they're like, oh, they've driven from one town to the next town, going to look for their hobbies. I don't know, they're doing whatever. I'm like, what's the point? What is the point? Yeah? If anything, you are just giving this other woman power. So all that energy that you have, this is the time to pour a lot of attention onto yourself. Where have you been cheating yourself? Once you get clear in terms of where have you been cheating yourself, because the understanding is your circumstances are just feedback. Whatever is going on in your reality right now is just feedback for you to work through. After I am clear, after I've started upgrading myself, and I would go from 0 to 100, I'd completely change everything. If it is my hair, if it is my makeup, if it is my routine, I would completely change everything. Once I have done that, I will look for a project. I will look for something for him to invest financially in me. This is how you handle cheating as a winner, especially if you are a wife and you know you're not going to leave this man. Do not acknowledge that other woman. Work on yourself. Get a coach, get a mentor. Sometimes as wives, we don't realize how far we've lost ourselves. And then get something proper. This really is the time to ask for some kind of financial investment in you. Okay? And once he invests in you, yeah, because of course he's guilty. Okay? Our men love us. People do things for whatever kinds of reasons. Yeah? And I'm talking to you if this is something you know you will never leave your hubby for. Okay, because there are many wives who've invested so much, so many years. Like to them, they're like, okay, for me, I wouldn't leave him, especially if you have a successful man. Yeah? So once you've upgraded yourself, you've asked for something substantial. And that's why I always encourage all the women I work with privately, whether or not you are in the boardroom, have interests, have hobbies, have activities, have things that you can use to channel your money through. Ask for that financial assistance. He definitely is going to give you, because why? He is guilty. You still are maintaining your dignity. Yeah, because we are talking marriage. Yeah, we're not talking boyfriend, girlfriend. Boyfriend, girlfriend, why are we even dealing with someone who's cheating on you? That's a non-negotiable. You leave. Yeah? And in marriage, like I mentioned, some wives, they tell me, Linda, I cannot leave. There's too much financial investments we've done. We are so joined financially, blah, blah, blah. And fine, I get it. Yeah? So once he has invested in you, this is now the time when maybe you started feeling better about yourself, self-esteem-wise, you are looking good, you're looking after yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're becoming emotionally stronger, and maybe he starts now to become sweeter to you. Maybe you're hanging out on the couch. This is the time to ask him and tell him, babe, I signed up for a monogamous relationship. Is there something I need to know? Ask him that question. And you followed the steps. Yeah? The financial aspect, him pouring it into you, is a form of apology, number one. And number two, it still shows he still values you. He still wants to keep you around. Once he has done that, then you can bring up. And we are not going to say, oh, I found this text message here, there, blah, blah, blah. No, we are not acknowledging anyone else. You are simply reinstating, babe, we are in a monogamous relationship and I am committed. Yeah, and you have been working on yourself. And then just ask him, is there anything I need to know? If you've noticed any kind of distance between you and him, just let him know. I've been feeling a bit of a distance. I miss you. Is there anything I need to know? Let him speak. If you have been upgrading yourself like from 0 to 100, yeah, he's starting to come towards you. He's invested, you've done an action and he's invested something in you during this difficult period, and you're now speaking with him. He may say, babe, okay, I've been struggling with this. Or, yeah, maybe he might deny and say, there's nothing I need to know. Then still ask him. Just let him know. My intuition, the way I'm feeling right now, I'm feeling like there's a distance between us. And I'd love to know, is there anything that I need to know? Give him the opportunity to speak up. If he does not, then leave it. Because remember, this is an option for a woman who, those wives who say, I'll never leave my husband, yet you still want to maintain dignity. If you stay on this path, and please note, this is the time for you to up-level yourself from 0 to 100. Because the biggest mistake wives are making is you find maybe there's a third party, and then you're here crying every day. Oh, babe, I found this. Oh, I found that. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so then what? He's definitely not going to admit it. And yet nothing is changing. So unless you change, you take that circumstance as an option for you to change, you will handle it like a loser. You've acknowledged this other woman has power. You're looking like a loser in his eyes. Okay? Then, of course, he has to start defending himself. And then what's going to happen? You're not going to win. So that's the first route. I'll come through and see if there are any questions. The second route, if for you cheating is a non-negotiable, and this is where some of us lie. If it is a non-negotiable, I would still do the same steps. I would still take the same steps. I would still upgrade myself completely. I change my entire life in terms of how I spend my time, how I look, what I do, how, in fact, even I wouldn't even be crossing my legs the same way I cross. Yeah? And then I would start to plan, what is my future? Because there are times, like some of my clients, when they come to start working with me, they are like, oh my goodness, Linda, there are some things I realized I was showing up in this particular way. Because sometimes as wives, the role of a wife can be very demanding. And we've been conditioned to really work so hard. We are working in our 9-to-5s, we are coming back to our homes, we are caregiving, we are managing, we are controlling, and you find that sometimes your hubby even starts to become like a last born in the home. And it happens to all the best of us. Once you start to become aware of what are some of the ways you've been showing up that you can upgrade, because remember, the whole idea for you upgrading is not just for your man, it's for you as well. Because one of the questions I always ask these babes who come to me, they're like, Linda, I don't know whether I should stay or leave, or my relationship is, it's going down the rocks. And I'm like, babe, remember, at the end of the day, you have a vision. You have a goal. And your vision ought to be bigger than the marriage you are in right now. Because one of the other biggest mistake wives make is they limit their life to the marriage they have. So if you ask them, do you think you can do any better than this man? They've never even thought of that question. What that shows me is you stopped growing as a woman. And one thing I learned even throughout my journey, because last year I was separated, almost getting divorced, we are not taught to be women. Womanhood is not taught to us, especially us very successful, ambitious women. We are very strong, we fix things, we control things. That is the energy we are comfortable with, because that's the energy that has helped us get our corporate careers. It helped us get our promotions. That side, that masculine side of us is overdeveloped. But then our softer side is the side which we find weak. We find it like it's childish. Even something as simple as being playful. It's like, oh, you can't even be a girl anymore. That side is thrown away. So everyone is so serious in the marriage, everyone is so serious in the relationship. And the funny thing is, the masculine enjoys the feminine. And if there are two masculine energies in the relationship, two like and like cannot attract. Opposites is what attracts. So ladies, at the end of the day, let me see if there are any questions that are coming up. Let me see if there are any questions. Do not acknowledge. Hi, are you going to save this live? Absolutely. I'll save it. One thing, ladies, never acknowledge the other woman. Never. Never. Never acknowledge the other woman. If you suspect that is what is going on, work with a coach, work with a mentor, upgrade yourself, make this decision from your heart. Because sometimes you may find that, okay, maybe I was also a little bit controlling. Maybe I lost myself. Maybe I wasn't showing up I was not even happy with who I am as a woman. And you may decide, I want to give this marriage a second chance. And even if that's the case, still, before you decide to give the marriage a second chance, create that distance. Like I mentioned, upgrade who you are, then make a sweet request. And you're not going to demand. Even if you want him to invest $30,000, $50,000 in your business, whatever it is, you're not going to demand. You will just ask and say, babe, I have this investment I've been wanting to make. Talk to him about it. A man who loves you, a man who's made a mistake, because people make mistakes. A man who's made a mistake and slept out, and he still loves you, he will do anything. He'll even go and take a loan. In fact, there's a day hubby told me, he's like, babe, if a man loves a woman, money is never an issue. He's gonna look for that money to keep her around. And why is money so important? Because men invest in women in 3 ways. Money, yeah, how much money he is giving to you. 2, his sexual energy. And 3, attention. There has to be that trifecta. I call it the trifecta. Okay, so let's see if there are any questions coming up. If you're interested in working with me privately, please feel free to DM me. Audio not clear, you're totally right. I once did D. I think it kept disconnecting at some point. I hope you can hear me now. Yeah, that's the thing. We are not about drama. This nonsense of drama, we are past that nonsense. And the thing is, you'll never win. And then you start to look like an ugly loser, like you do not have options. And then you're wondering, who exactly are you fighting? Like, what for? No. Yeah, that's why I felt, let me come and talk about this in this live. And I hope, Lucille, you are able to resolve your issue. Let's see if there's any other question that's coming up. And I think at the end of the day, for as long as you understand that your circumstances are feedback, what does that mean? If you don't like something going on, even it's like your work, if you keep getting poor ratings, that is feedback. Yeah, you can decide to be like, okay, my boss is the issue, or you can decide, you know what, maybe let me do something about this poor rating. Let me go learn something. Let me go upgrade some skill sets so that I don't keep getting this poor rating. Okay, and then the second thing is there's only you. What does that mean? You are the creator of everything in your life. With that understanding that you are creating from your thoughts, from your beliefs, because some women have this negative belief that all men are character developers. So you can imagine you're married and deep down your subconscious thinking is men are character developers. That's exactly what you're gonna get, because that's what you believe. Because maybe that's what you grew up seeing, a lot of drama, a lot of pain, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, or whoever. And until you start to reprogram, until you start to choose a different story, you'll probably keep getting that issue of having to fight for a man's attention all the time with other babes. Okay, so let's see if there's any question. If there are no questions, what about being willing to forgive for the sake, but the other party, what is this question? What about being willing to forgive my spouse for the sake of keeping? You do not forgive for the sake of anything. You choose. You are not a martyr. And this is the other mentality. You do not choose. And even if you listen to my step-by-step, your man still has to show that he is interested in this marriage. You are not forgiving for the sake of anything. Okay? But the other party does not put in any work and wants to sustain the relationship, wants a divorce. Ooh, so this is the other thing, ladies. This is the other thing. You cannot clap with one hand. It takes 2 hands to clap. If your hubby has decided he wants a divorce, he wants a divorce. And this is really the painful thing. Because many times, and I can really understand the pain, Anissa, there is nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do when a man wants a divorce. Do not fight him on his decision. Do not even try to reason with him. Do not even try to do anything. Because there is a reason he wants a divorce. Yeah? And I think I'd want to know a little bit more details around this. Because once you start to feel like, and it's clear, don't fight it. Do not fight it. Because what that does, it puts you in the chasing mode. It puts you in the chasing energy. And anything you chase runs. Anything you chase runs. And this is not a game. This is just how human beings work. So if your man wants a divorce, respect it. Respect it. Do not fight with it. However, I'll need to know a little bit more details, because clearly the power is not in your hands right now. Yeah? And it's really sad. It's really sad. You can't get a man, but I would need to know what are the details here. Because if you're talking about a third party, if you're talking about him leaving you for another woman and actually to the point of wanting a divorce, that's a very different story. I'd need to know a little bit more details. Yeah? But what I know is it's really difficult to reason with someone who wants to leave, especially a man. And especially if there's a third party on the other side, I would need to know a little bit more what exactly went on so that I can able to give my perspective. But for now, yeah, that is what my thing. That is my thing. Because the more you push, the more you can't be willing to forgive, because there's also the element of dignity. What are you forgiving if he is ready to move on? You see, it's not like he has done a mistake and he's coming to say sorry. He's done a mistake and he wants to go. You have to respect his decision. And this is a bitter pill. And this is how you can win, by the way. If he was meant to be for you, allow him to make the choice, because at the end of the day, is this man who you want to keep worth being kept? As much as you enjoy the marriage, does he want to be in the marriage? I remember when I was separated, my first question my dad asked me is like, is your hubby interested? A man has to be interested. Okay, but Anissa, I feel I need a little bit more detail, so feel free to DM me. Let's see. Your voice has lowered. You close your speaker, raise your mic. What if your husband is overly sexual and is trying too many sexual and you can't? Now he goes out. So is this fetish? Are these fetishes? Are these fetishes? Okay. And you can't even keep up with all of it now, and he now goes out to get them. What should I do? I think, and this is just my perspective, seems like you have a very, very active man. Seems like you have a very, very explorative man. Okay. Now, my question to you would be, these things that he wants to do, can you do them? Can you not do them? Because I know sometimes, like, and this is just this is just my perspective. It's like sometimes men can be like children. They want to push a certain boundary. Yeah, there are some things you may want to open yourself up to, but if it goes against whatever it is that you feel your body can take, yeah, because we are not virgins here, if it goes against what would feel good, because as feminine women, what really guides us is, what does it feel? How does my body feel when he does this to me? Am I feeling good? And if we are now beginning to explore him going out, it means, are we changing the agreement for this? Are we now changing from a monogamous marriage to an open marriage? Is that what he is saying? And I'm assuming here, Fancy, this is a husband. Because sometimes we forget, when we said I do, we said I do to a monogamous marriage. And if you've had this conversation, and yes, you've opened your mind up a little bit to whatever it is that you want, you are clear that, okay, this might not feel good, this one maybe I can explore, and maybe he wants a lot more. And it's more than what you can give, and he's beginning to go outside. I think it's time to draw the line on the sand. Because at the end of the day, I always say, yes, we are married, but we also have our lives to live. So by him going outside, it means he's opening up this marriage. Does he want an open marriage? And is this something you're okay being in? And it looks like there has to be a very serious conversation to be had. And it also starts with you, Fancy. How far can you take this? What are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? Because I feel the worst thing for any woman is to be in a relationship where you feel you have to perform. Because if you're not performing, this man is going to leave you. Honestly, that's not life. So I feel it could be time for a very honest, open conversation with your hubby. I may not have all the details. I don't know what exactly going on, but this may seem like a boundary issue where it may be time for you to express what your boundary is. And then if it's something he can meet you on that level, then from there decide. And if it's something he's saying, no, he needs this, and you cannot give it, then it starts to become a little bit deeper than just a boundary. And it comes down to, what are your non-negotiables? What kind of a relationship do you see yourself staying in for the rest of your life? Because remember, guys, at the end of the day, these relationships, we are here to have fun. At the end of the day, we are here to grow, we are here to explore, we are here to have fun. Yeah, so obviously what he's telling you is he wants some level of excitement. So the thing is, how far can we push that excitement? Okay. So I don't know what's up with my mic. Let's see. I chased for 6 months and he ran. I only tried for the sake of my child and left him. He says he wants a divorce, but he hasn't divorced me yet. So it comes down to you. I always say, many women, and this is how sometimes you can start to play a victim. You can easily play a victim to a man, not even a man, to circumstances. At the end of the day, who are you? What do you want? And why? Who are you? What do you want and why? At the end of the day, because it takes two people. Do you have all the time to keep waiting for this divorce? Or maybe you're not yet over the marriage. At the end of the day, and this is something I help some of my clients with. In fact, she's a therapist, and she's been separated for a year and a half, and they've done counseling, so many things, and eventually when we finished working, she's like, Linda, I deserve better. And this was her second marriage. But ultimately, it always comes down to you. If you're sitting and waiting, men have gotten families as you're sitting and waiting. They've moved on. He's moved on to doing whatever it is, and someone is sitting there and waiting. For me, I put myself first. I put my life first. And I'm like, okay, it's unfortunate this is where my life is, but where am I going? Okay. So let's see. Perfect. Now we can hear you loud and clear. Thanks, Dee. Let's see if there's any other question. Okay, so ladies, if you need support to work with me privately, feel free to DM me. But remember, it, whether or not you're married, you are worthy. You are worthy. And the way you treat yourself, that's how men are going to treat you. Your hubby, your boss, whatever it is. It all comes down to what you feel you deserve as a woman. And until you start to change the stories that are running around in your subconscious, some of these beliefs like, oh my goodness, I don't want to end up being lonely, so let me just stick out in this marriage and let me continue. And I always ask, so what are you showing your children? Yeah? What are we modeling to our children? Because remember, the way you do relationships, you probably got it from your parents. And if there's nothing going on that you're changing, maybe you're still repeating the same painful story, only you has the power to decide to change. Okay? So get the support you need. And I mean, at the end of the day, for me, marriage is about growth. It's about enjoyment. It's about fun. It doesn't have to be this heavy, stressful thing that people are, that we've been taught to believe that marriage is hard, marriage is this, marriage is that. It always is a choice. All right. So, bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out and enjoy the rest of the week and wish me all the best as I continue to recover. You can hear my voice is a little bit off, but I felt let me just come and talk about this. All right. So bye, guys.